My name is Olivier Ceberio, CEO at Senseen US. Today I'm going to talk about Nutriscope, which is this very tiny device. I don't know if you can see it from far. Oh, wait. What is? Yeah, oh, it's going faster than I thought. So Nutriscope is a handheld scanner that measures plant health and nutrients directly in the field in real time. So the way it works is actually quite simple. So Nutriscopes emit light in the UV, visible, and near infrared range. And that's okay. That's okay. And the light interact with the molecules of the plant, reflect back. We calculate the absorption curve. And from that, we use AI to build model to calculate concentration in nutrients or in pH, redox, whatever the system is calibrated to. Yes. So this is our second generation. Our first generation was actually specifically designed. I'll keep my cool. Specifically designed to measure redox. So it's a unique, well, I think the only scanner in the world to measure redox, and I'll dive deeper into that. And we had 200 units deployed with our first gen. It was calibrated for 11 crop, plus milk, plus soil. What we realized with our first generation is that redox was so new that even our senior agronomists were not able to use it. And I'm not talking about the grower, for which it was even newer. So what we did, we developed the second generation, which in addition of measuring pH and redox, measure nutrient concentration, and this is Nutriscope. We launched Nutriscope in February in France, in May in the US. We sold 200 units already. It's calibrated for 7 crops. We enable almost 500,000 scans, which is pretty good, I think. And we have like a network of more than 90 partners for calibration purpose and research and dissemination. So the way it works is actually very simple. You select a leaf that you want to analyze. You clip it. So you have a small clip. OK, now I start to get it. You have a small clip. You launch a scan using your phone. In 5-7 seconds, you get 1 scan. In the field, you need to do 15 scans to get to the nutrients to reproduce the lab analysis process. And once you get the scan on, you get a whole bunch of measurements. So this is our first screen in our application. This is the crops that has been calibrating to. This is plant health. OK. There is a pattern. So this is plant health. So we measure pH and redox. Because we measure both of them, we're able to calculate a stress index, which measures the overall level of oxidation of the plant. And we saw that at a stress index of 9 and below, the plant is healthy and can sustain its homeostasis and can defend itself. Above 9, the plants start to be sensitive to stress, biotic stress and abiotic stress. So that's a very interesting finding, most of the case. And then the second screen is nutrients. So you get directly access to something like 12 nutrients. The Nutriscope has been calibrating using SAP analysis from a laboratory located in the Netherlands called Nova Crop Control. And so I'm not touching anything. So we have 12. And so you get access to this nutrient concentration right in the field, so you can make better decision. Then we have the nutrient. We also have a decision support system specifically for wheat and corn, because you are able to measure all these parameters all at once. Wait. Yes. OK. It's not the same slide here and here. Because you have access to all these parameters, crop advisors and agronomists back in France actually did 70,000 scans and built a decision tree based on the scan results and their recommendations. So we actually have this decision support system. If you go to booth 4, I can do a demo of how it works, but it's pretty interesting. Next one, we are going to add a field book in the coming months. This will enable you to make note during your measurements, and to make notes, and maybe to take pictures, but also to customize your form so that you have preliminary question answers. I'm losing time. So For us, in terms of return on investment, which is a key criteria, one of the main benefits of Nutri-Scope is that it enables you to save on lab analysis. Once you get to know how to use it, our users use an average of 4 to 5 times a day. So each time is 15 scans, so they do like 80 to 100 scans every day because they know how to track their crops. But we believe, so if you do that, and if you were to pay lab analysis for that, you would recover your investment in a matter of weeks. But we believe actually the main benefit does not come from saving from the lab. It comes from the fact that you get all the measurements all at once without destroying anything, and you can start to develop your own intelligence, your own management. So that's where the benefit is. So you can, make better decisions with lower risk. That's where limit your entrance, limit your application, and more trust. Yeah. So now you saw the next slide. So I'll go faster. So this is a bit about Nutri-Scope. I'm in booth 4. We can have a demo, that's no problem. But I have 5 things to ask you. So first, we are in early stage of commercialization. So we are selling. The scanner is $3,000. The subscription $750. So it's not cheap. But again, you recover, if you do lab analysis, you recover very quickly. We have a promo. We sell everything $2,500 during the time of the conference. You have the code. I guess it's in automation. So it's valid up to end of the FIRA conference. Now, what was interesting, we are calibrating for new crops. We were awarded 2 grants from the California Blueberry Commission and from F3C for blueberry and almond calibration. So if you are growing either of these crops, or if you know people around you who are growing these crops, we are going to have partnership, building partnership, so that the grower will participate and help calibrators get free lab analysis, free scanners, and also get his crops calibrated, as a scanner calibrated for his crop. So it's all benefit for them. If your crop is not in this list, and the crops that I showed before, contact us. We are in preliminary discussion with a certain number of commodity board. We would like this effort to be financed by either industrial partner or commodity board, but we are very active. We have like 10 work streams of discussion going on in parallel at different stages. But if your crop is not there, please reach out to us. We are interested in any crop. And if you want to try it yourself, booth 4, very easy. And last one, but not the least, we just developed a new product. It's produced. It's industrialized. It's a bigger version of Nutri-Scope. This one you see as a cup in the middle. It's 4 scanners, the same technology, 4 of them working together. And we are looking for calibration partner to calibrate for grain, forage, turf, soil, and this is a new technology. It's very promising. It's, okay, I'll stop here. So it's very promising. And our purpose is actually to go from the soil to the tissue. Oh, that's not me. I'm not doing anything. I thought it was me, but so to go from the soil to the tissue to actually the nutritional quality of the food product. And also in a few months, we're going to launch our first calibration for bricks in tomatoes. So this is the scanner. You would take your tomatoes, you would put the scanner on it, you would measure bricks. We have very good results so far. And we'd like to expand this range of calibration to anthocyanin in blueberry, pH bricks, and TA in berry, etc., etc. There is no limit. Thank you very much. Less than 2 minutes.
All right, come on, let's hear it for them. Go see them at their booth. Check it out. All right, our next speaker, Ahmed Kayad. He's the Agriculture Engineer Advisor for UCANR. Let's hear it for him, Ahmed. You can take the stage. Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Ahmed Kayad. I'm the Agricultural Engineer Advisor with the University of California, Division of Agriculture and Natural Resources. My presentation today is about yield mapping, and yield mapping is one of the main components of precision agriculture. Okay. So precision agriculture. Precision agriculture is a management philosophy that aims to apply the right amount of agricultural input at the right place and at the right time. And precision agriculture has three main steps to simplify it. The first one is monitoring or mapping the variability within field, then delineating the field to different management zones, then applying a variable rate application from the agricultural input according to the actual needs from each management zone. This strategy looks efficient, profitable, but a question here, do all fields need these practices? Actually, a simple answer is it depends on the monitoring or the mapping step. If we have enough variability that could be profitable if we manage it, we can go for next steps for delineating the management zones and applying variable rate application. So here is an example for alfalfa yield map. Those are 5 consecutive yield maps from a half-center pivot alfalfa field from a desert area. And if you look to these maps, you can see the same pattern. The dark green here is the high yield, and the yellow color here represents the low yield zone. If you look for just one yield map, you can see that the difference between high and low yield zones are like 1 ton per acre, not that too much yield difference between the different zones. But actually, if you create a cumulative yield map at the end of the season, and here is the example, we can see the impact of this yield variability. In this example, we cumulatively, we aggregated all of these yield maps and divided the field into 5 zones based on area. Each zone is 20% of this field, and the high yield zone produced more than 10 ton per acre, while the low yield zone produced less than 5 ton per acre. Same field, same grower, same management practices, everything was the same, but still we have like double production from the high yield zone compared to the low yield zone. And guess what? Growers can figure out their problem just from looking at their yield map in many cases. So how can we create this kind of alfalfa yield maps? Here I'm presenting different techniques. The first one is the vegetation indices, and vegetation indices are indices that we can calculate from multispectral images. We can get these multispectral images from satellite or drones. And the second technique package will be yield monitoring systems in hay balers, which monitors the hay mass flow inside the balers. And the last one is just the 2 techniques that we just developed at our research center in North California using drone imagery. So here was our trial. We used the vegetation indices. This was a half-center pivot, 60-acre field in North California in Tule Lake. And we focused our analysis on the last span. The area of this last span was 15 acres. And we collected weekly drone images from this Mavic 3 multispectral drone. We calculated 3 vegetation indices, NDVI, GNDVI, and NDRE. NDVI is the normalized difference vegetation index, and each one of these vegetation indices use different spectral band to calculate these vegetation indices. We collected weekly drone images, and we had actually 2 images every 5 days from Sentinel-2 satellite. It's a constellation of satellites that covers the whole globe, and we could have 2 images every 5 days. We calculated these vegetation indices at these different crop growth stages, and our question was, what is the best vegetation index that can describe alfalfa yield? And what is the best crop growth stage that can describe this yield variability? So this was the first thing, vegetation indices. And this was how the satellite image looks like from the vegetation indices. Second group of techniques are monitoring hay mass flow inside hay balers. And this is a photo for a tractor and a hay baler. And here, okay. Here is a large rectangular baler mechanism. In large rectangular baler, we have 4 main mechanisms. The first part, south, is the pickup mechanism, which collects hay from ground. Then a delivery mechanism, which push hay up to the baler chamber. Then the plunger mechanism, which push hay inside the baler chamber to form the hay bale. And once we reach the desired bale length, and we measure it from this star wheel down, once we reach the length we want for this hay bale, the needles go up and tie the bale twine. So this is how balers works. And here in our experiment, we used a Massey Ferguson hay baler and the star wheel that measures the hay, bale length was at the top part of this baler. Here at this top part, we put this small sensor. It has almost the same size of this device, and we fixed it at the shaft that connects this star wheel to the baler. So every time this star wheel moves, this sensor measures any tilt or movement inside the baler. And it has a built-in GPS, it has a memory card, and it measures it through a gyroscope. So at the end, we can download this data and do our analysis in Excel by converting this movement of this star wheel to and convert it to a yield. We tested also another thing which is interesting. Have you seen kids playing with phones, tilting it in different directions to play the car games? This is because our smartphones has also gyroscope. And we used a phone application called the Firefox. It's free, anyone can download it. And we used it to record the phone tilt angle and the GPS. So we just fixed the phone at this shaft of the baler, as you can see here, and we collected all movement of the baler while it is baling, and we could record the movement of hay or the hay mass flow inside the baler. So this was the second one. This is the result from this hay mass flow monitoring inside balers. Since it is a 360 circle, so it moves from plus 180 to minus 180 degrees. And if you look here, this was our data points after averaging our values. Here are some technical stuff. So the plunger strokes per minute were 47. So we took the median sensor tilt angle every 5.1 second, and this is equal to complete 4 strokes from this plunger. So we give the same number of bushes to the hay if we get this number. And most of balers are within the 47 RPM from the plunger. If you draw this data in any GIS software, you can get a map like this, a data point with the average of amount of hay entered to this baler. And in order to compare this result with ground data, we collected a total of 30 samples from this study field. After cutting the hay, we placed this frame. It's 10 feet long, and we used edge trimmer to cut the hay from both sides, then roll it and put it in a trash can to measure the weight, the fresh weight. Then we take a subsample for oven drying, and like this we could calculate the actual yield. And here we were like 6 people working for like 3 hours just for collecting these 30 samples. So using the sensor within baler is quite simpler and practical way. So comparing these different maps from satellite, drone, and hay mass flow sensors, we got these 3 maps, and according to our first year studies, this was quite accurate in measuring the, it somehow gave the yield variability. So the high yield here, for example, was 2.4 ton per acre, while the low yield was 1.7 ton per acre. It's plus or minus 20% from the average yield in this specific cut. A good thing about satellite images, it was free, so anyone can download the Sentinel-2 satellite image and calculate the GNDVI, quite simple, from different platforms can provide it. And we found that the best time for mapping this yield variability was 3 weeks after cutting. We can predict the next cut, or 2 weeks before cutting in our area. The same result from drones. Drones give higher resolution, higher spatial resolution, or ground sampling distance, but we don't really need this high resolution within for Alfalfa. For the hay mass flow sensor, we could collect like 30 points per acre, and this after filtering, because this data also has a kind of some noise, and we have to put some filters to eliminate the outliers. So those were the vegetation indices and hay mass flow sensors. For the two techniques that we think they are still logical also. So this is a field, a 30-acre field, and we flew our drone after baling. And if you fly it, you can get an image like the one at the left part here, or the right. So if you think about yield, what is yield? Yield is the production per unit area. So if I measure the distance between 2 consecutive bales, and this is the distance you need to form 1 bale, and we already know the windrow width, so we know the areas that formed 1 bale. And since bales are almost have the same weight, usually for this experiment that the grower targeted 100 pounds per bale, so they are within plus or minus 3%. And like this, we can say that this area produced 100 pounds of hay. And we can calculate like this yield from this equation. Yield equals bale weight divided by distance between bales times the windrow width. And this is a straightforward technique to calculate the yield from an image like this. This 30-acre, we flew the drone for around 10 minutes, and we did the analysis in another 10 minutes. So it's quite fast. And here is an example. The distance between these 2 bales was long, so it's 72 feet. This means 1.2 ton per acre. And here we have a short distance between these 2 bales, 45 feet, which is 1.9 ton per acre. This is a simple way. And we repeated it 100 times over the field, as I said, in like 10 minutes. And we could collect a better yield data. Another technique that we are working on, and we got also a first year result from it, this is the hay volume estimation using drone photogrammetry. So after hay rake, all hay accumulate in the hay windrow. We flew the drone in an oblique mode, so we took images from different angles, and we could create a 3D model for the hay windrow, and we calculated the volume of this hay windrow, and we converted this volume to yield. So here is the hay volume map. Still, hay volume is not hay weight, but actually it's well correlated. Here is the ground yield compared to the estimated yield from this technique, and the R-square value was 0.7. And it described well the yield variability within this field. The variability here also was confirmed by the grower and the actual yield data. Here, probably you are asking now, okay, how this technique compared to the free satellite image GNDVI 2 weeks before cutting. This is a GNDVI satellite image. It's a free, available. And it can well describe actually the yield variability in our study field. It's clear the high yield zone here. It's identical to what we got from the satellite image and what we got also from the actual yield map. Those are some techniques for alfalfa yield mapping, and with this I would be happy to get any of your questions. Yeah.
Did you find any correlation as to why yield goes up and down? Did it exactly correlate with soil type in the field, or was there another cause for going up and down?
Actually, there are a lot of reasons for this. So could be the management practices from the grower, a block sprinkler, for example. But what I found that growers always comment on yield maps with, yeah, I know that this is my low yield zone. I know this is the pattern of my center pivot. For example, if you have a ring with low yield zone with a center pivot, this mostly block the sprinkler, for example. And I found also growers saying, I know that this is a low yield zone in my field historically. One of them said, I know why I have low yield zone here. I used a planter which was not efficient at the time of planting. So they can figure out some reasons. And there are a lot of funny stories.
All right, thank you, Ahmed. Let's hear it up for him. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
10 minutes here. Our next up, number 3, Farzana Khorsandi. She's the Associate Professor of Cooperative Extension at the University of California, Davis. Let's hear a round of applause. Here she comes. All right, your 10 minutes starts now.
Okay, thank you. My name is Farzana Khorsandi. I'm Associate Professor of Extension in Ag Safety and Health in University of California, Davis, Department of Bioag and Engineering. And the talk is about application of autonomous equipment in California, specifically in California, and the concern around the safety of autonomous equipment. And very short outline, I will start with the current California regulations for application of tractors in California, petition number 596 to modify the current regulation, and also ISO 18497. I will go very shortly through them. First of all, this is the current California regulation for application of equipment is 3441, Section B, which has been established in 1970, around 50 years ago. And based on this regulation, for all self-propelled agricultural equipment, the operator should be stationed in the control of the vehicle. And for FARO-guided equipment, the operator can be is not required to be in the control of the equipment, but if some specific situation met. One of them is that, for example, the operator should see the course and also the employees around the vehicle. The other one is that the control should not be more than 10 feet away. And when the operator wants to reach the control, they should not need to climb some obstacle. And the last one is that the speed of the equipment should be less than 2 miles per hour. But as we know, and as we saw, a lot of these equipments, they don't have any station for the operator. And the current regulation need to be modified. And there is a petition filed by Monarch. And the main goal of this petition was to modify the current regulation to change the need for having the operator in the control station of the vehicle. There has been some discussion around this petition, especially in OSH board, Occupational Safety and Health Standard Board of DIR. And there were some concern about this petition. One of them, for example, it's a very big conversation and concerns about this petition and the modification of this regulation. And I bring several items here. One of them is that one of the concern was system connectivity, hackers attack, also the transparency in data sharing. And there also been some conversation about Monarch temporary experimental variants and other temporary experimental variants, and also the discussion about having an advisory committee to oversee the topic. The petition was rejected, but following the conversation, an advisory committee has been formed. I was a member of this advisory committee, and they met three times this year, and there has been a lot of conversation. And if you scan this QR code, you can see these conversations. And also, the members of this committee include wide range of stakeholders in this area. And right now, I'm going to just to focus on the possible solution to resolve such a problem. These are the international code of practice or standards related to this topic, starting with ISO 18497. Also, Australian code of practice. There is a Britain standard in this regard. Also, the European Union regulation and functional safety as well. I'm going to just to focus on ISO 18497 very shortly. And this standard includes 4 sections. Which includes vocabulary, also testing, whether the vehicle pass or getting out of the boundary zone of the farm, and also how the vehicle react to an obstacle. Again, the first part is about the definitions, and it starts with 4 definitions: manual vehicles, semi-autonomous, partially autonomous, and fully autonomous vehicles. And one of the sections that I want to present is about detection of the boundaries of the farm. And as we know, the farms, they can have different boundaries. For example, one of them is geofencing. It can be also buried wires, or also the physical boundaries. And this part of the standard discuss different topics about the weather, lighting condition, terrain condition. And this is the shape of the zone to evaluate the performance of the equipment for detection of the boundaries of the vehicle. And as you can see, it has different parts. For example, this is a narrow road for testing the performance in narrow areas, also circular areas, sharp angles. And this is the way that the standard evaluate the performance of the vehicle. For example, this is an autonomous vehicle. This is one example. And you can see compare the dimension of the autonomous vehicle compared to this test area. And for example, for boundary detection, they run the autonomous vehicle close to the boundary, and the vehicle should not hit the boundary of the farm. And the second one is that they ask the vehicle to run and cover all the area of the farm, and the vehicle should not exit the boundaries of the farm. There is also other parts of, about the boundary detections. And one of the interesting part of the standard is the detection of the obstacle detection. This is one example. This is the obstacle that the ISO standard proposed. The height is around 3 feet, and it represents a seated human or a children or an animal. And they have very clear dimensions and also the characteristic of the obstacle. It's recommended to be made of plastic. The color should be olive green, and it's recommended to be filled with water, and preferably the hot water or warm water to simulate the human body. And this is, one of the tests for testing to see if the autonomous vehicle can detect the object. They set the object in a specific distance from the autonomous or, partially autonomous or semi-autonomous vehicle, and then run the autonomous vehicle from the start point. And the autonomous vehicle should stop before hitting the object. And it's that based on the standard, some characteristics or some factors from the autonomous vehicle should be recorded. For example, what's the stop distance, and also what was the working condition of the autonomous vehicle. And this is again, more detail about the test condition. It's recommended to have at least 3 of these obstacles, one in the middle, the second on the left and right, and also it's recommended to have the 5th and 4th obstacle. And for each one of them, they run the test and measure the performance of the equipment. And this is also based on the standard. They also recommend to evaluate the performance of the vehicle in different weather conditions. For example, fog condition or rain condition. And this is, for example, based on the standard hazard zone and also warning zone determined, and obstacle placed in the boundary of the hazard zone and also the warning zone. And then they, in the weather simulation chamber, they simulate the rain with different raining rates, and also it has a clear guideline about the droplet size and the time that should the rain should they should have the rain. And again, they evaluate the performance of the vehicle. And the same, for example, for tractor, they evaluate for both going forward and backward. And for wrapping up, again, there has been some concern about the current regulation 3341. There has been a petition, and I just discussed the current the ISO standard. And thank you.
Let's make some noise. Yeah, here for her. Thank you so much. All right, next up, our final 10-minute lightning round. Make some noise for Pooja and Ahmed representing Blue River Technology, our sponsor for today. Yeah, there you go. And your 10 minutes starts now.
Okay. Sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll try to keep this within 10 minutes. It's a long day. So I'm Avinash, and I'll talk about using deployable AI in agriculture. It's the work that I've been doing along with my colleagues Lee and Pooja and Rakil, who are here today, and diving into the details. So we are part of Blue River Technology, which is a fully owned subsidiary of John Deere. And this is the high-level agenda, and we'll be talking about these in detail. So this is an autonomous tractor, and we have been hearing about this throughout the several lightning talks here today. So there's a completely driverless autonomous tractor, which farmers have been using for a while now. And a core part of this machine is the perception system, and we'll talk about those in detail. So the perception system is a set of cameras which are on the tractor, and these generate images which pass through the depth and segmentation models. And what segmentation model does is it helps us analyze what is in the image, and depth helps us know where exactly is the object in the image. And together, these two informations are utilized to localize the tractor in 3D real world and know how far is the object with respect to tractor, which enables autonomy. Now we have talked about the depth and the segmentation models, but a core part of any deep neural network or the models is the data. That's the key part of the models. And we do have millions of images or the data that we use to train our models. But again, do we want to use all the models? One, it is very resource intensive, and it takes a lot of time. And we can always randomly select data, but it doesn't cover the edge cases or the long tail cases. To address that problem, what we did was we have an efficient way and an effective way of sampling data. The effective way is like we identify the interesting and diverse cases. This can be across day, night, crop types, soil types, etc. And the process that we adapt, we try to scale it up so that we have continuous model deployment. These are some of the edge cases that the autonomous machine has to operate day in and day out so that our farmers are happy with the system. And if you see these cases, so the model has to detect all these cases properly and make the right decision in order to have good autonomy operation. So talking about data, I did mention about sampling, but the core part of it is data collection. So an important aspect of data collection is selective data collection. This happens in real time. Again, like we can collect millions of data that we see constantly, but that is not helpful to train our models. And in order to overcome that, what we do is we trigger some of the random triggers, and like we use custom models that detects objects in the scene, and we also use vision foundation models that identifies interestingness in the scene. And here you can see there are a bunch of images. These are all the images that a tractor sees today, but not all is helpful. So we pass it through our selective data triggers, and we end up with identifying only the most important data that helps make our models better. There is other aspect of data collection, which is offline data selection, and my colleague Pooja will be talking about this.
So we've successfully developed methods to do smart data collection, but we still faced with the challenge of dealing with millions of data that already exist in our data set. So for that, what we do employ multifaceted strategies to select useful and impactful images, from diversity sampling to using some existing models, to even using some metadata information like geolocation or the time of the day. Before sending these images for labeling, we also do rigorous deduplication to remove any redundancies. So here you can see 6 unique images. Each of these images has very unique visual characteristics. And all of these images have been selected using diversity sampling. This kind of diversity sampling allows us to prevent the model from overfitting to common patterns seen in the farm. Here are some examples of where our models sometimes fail. These are where the model predicted the object incorrectly. We use some custom models to search for these particular cases, and then by training the model on very edge cases or hard samples, we improve the model performance. We also use some vision language models. These models help us to query just like you would interact with a ChatGPT to look for specific images like whole trenches or poles or just images with low sun angle. So we've talked about how smart data collection and sampling strategies can help with model optimization. Here we'll talk about another technique that we use. So the field of AI offers us large models like ChatGPT, Dino, Clip, that have been pre-trained on open source data sets. These models are highly accurate, but they are compute heavy and they can't run to meet the demands of a real world autonomous system. So what we do is called knowledge distillation. Here we take these highly accurate but slow state of the models and transfer its abilities, feature extraction capabilities to a student model. This allows the student model to replicate the high accuracy and robustness of the teacher model, but it can still run fast enough to meet the requirements of an autonomous tractor. As we have demonstrated, this two-pronged approach to model optimization is highly beneficial. The intelligent data selection helps us to curate effective and diverse data sets, and the knowledge distillation helps us to make more robust and efficient model. Together, these help us to create cutting-edge system for real-world autonomy. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions.
All right. Let's give it up for her. And hey, before she takes questions, the speakers will be here for a few minutes in between if you want to come and talk to them. If they're here, they'll to talk to you and answer any questions. We just have a short break before we come back. We have a public-private partnerships and ag automation research right here at 3:30. So we're going to wrap up that time now. Hang out if you're here for that. Come talk to the speakers. Can we give them one more round of applause real quick? That was awesome.